Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. I'm really excited about today's video because it's time to film my first Painted Palette update for 2021. I honestly can't believe it has already been a month, but it has. So I'm excited to show my progress to you. I think I have done quite well during the past month. Painted Palette is for sure my favorite project pan ever. It is originally created by Ember F and the idea is to pan a palette. Usually it is an eyeshadow palette, but a lot of people are also doing pan those face palettes. But I am panning actually 3 eyeshadow palettes for this year. So yes, I know that can sound like a lot, and if you didn't see yet my intro for this project, I will link it to you here and also down to the description box. So I would recommend you to check out my intro first so you know all of my goals and how this is going to work for me. But I will explain it to you really quickly. The first palette I'm panning is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. This one was my painted palette last year and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it, so I decided to keep panning it for another 6 months at least. I want to finish at least a couple of more shades and then see if I want to keep panning it even longer than that. And then I do have 2 other painted palettes for this year. So one of them I will be focusing for the first 6 months, and that is the ABH Cosmetics Modern Matte Eyeshadow Palette. My goal is to hit pan on all of the eyeshadows. I don't know if it is doable by the 6-month mark, but in case there's only a couple of shades left that I have not hit pan on yet, I probably will keep panning those even after the 6 months. But then for the second half of the year, my main painted palette will be the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. However, I'm already working on certain shades from this palette, so I will show you my progress with this one too in these updates in the first half of the year. So yeah, those are my painted palettes. Let's actually start with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar eyeshadow palette, just because with this one I do have the least progress as I expected, but I do want to show the progress to you anyways. So let me show you where I was with this palette a month ago when I started this painted palette project. This is what the palette is looking like right now. So as you can see, there is not that many changes in this palette. So yes, with this one I don't have that good progress. However, a couple of the shades I have actually been using quite a bit. So Triple Fudge I have actually used for 21 times during the past month. Including today, I am wearing this one on my brows, and this is something I have worn on my brows every time I have gone for bolder brow look. And I got to say, I'm starting to see some wear on the shade. It's definitely a shade I had been using even before starting this project, but now I can see that there's clearly some wear, and I do believe that if I keep focusing on this one for a month or 2, there will be a good dip forming there. But then another shade that I have used quite a bit is Candied Violet over here. This one is clearly my least favorite shade from the palette, so because of that I do want to focus on it right now, because otherwise there is no way I'm going to hit pan on it, and this is pretty wintry shade. I have worn Candied Violet total 5 times, and 3 of those 5 times that I have worn it, I have actually used it as a nail polish, and I actually do have it on my nails today. So let me show you. There you can see I do have a dark cooler toned purple nail polish on the base, and then I do have Candied Violet on top of that. The idea of using eyeshadow as a nail polish is from Rebecca Morgan. I just do it a little bit differently. I know she uses a brush, but I actually do quite a heavy finger swatch, and then I really press the eyeshadow to my nail when my nail polish is still slightly sticky so that it really sticks, and then I put on a top coat. So yeah, I really do like how Candied Violet looks as a nail polish, because on my eyes I don't really love it. It's kind of like a chunky shimmer, it's not that pigmented, and it's a little bit dry-ish. However, the 2 other times that I used it as a liner. So yeah, there's definitely some wear there, but I do think the pan is really far away still. But I'm happy I have gotten some use out of it, because just as an eyeshadow it would be so difficult to hit pan. It would be impossible, I think. And then there is one more shade that I actually used once during the past month from this palette, and that is Hot Chocolate over here. I once created a look where I did have this one on the outer part of my lid, I believe. So yeah, other shades I have not used from this palette. For the next month, I'm still going to focus on Triple Fudge and Candied Violet. I feel since it is still winter, I'm really much into this purple, especially on my nails. I do love how it looks. So I don't need to use it a ton, but even if I do my manicure a couple of times using Candied Violet, and even if I use it as a liner for a couple of times, I'm happy. I just want to make some progress on it. And of course, Triple Fudge I will keep wearing on my brows. Other than that, you know, I might end up not touching the other eyeshadows, but that is fine. Those 2 eyeshadows I feel are hard enough to work from this palette for now. Let's move on to the Modern Renaissance eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to show you what it looked like when I filmed the finale for my Pan That palette in the end of December, and then I will show you what it looks like right now. And this is what we are looking like right now. So as you can see, I have gotten quite good use out of Antique Bronze. So yeah, I am really happy about the progress I was able to make on Antique Bronze. It is a shade I have been quite into, and I actually used it for 10 times during the past month. And my goal was to clear the lower right corner from the eyeshadow, and I wasn't sure if I could quite reach that, but I did set that to be my goal. And I'm so happy that not only was I able to use up everything what was in the lower right corner, I was almost able to hit side pan on the left side of the pan. So there is really not that much product left. I think it will be another 2 months if I'm using it as often as I have been using, and this eyeshadow will be gone, and I am so happy when that will happen. Whenever I have used Antique Bronze during the past month, I feel I have worn it quite a bit. So when I have worn it, I use it both in my crease and also on the outer half of my lid. I think I did once a look where I did have it all over my lid, but to be completely honest, it is a little bit too dark for my liking to wear all over my lid. I usually prefer something a little bit lighter on my lid, but then on the outer half I do like a little bit deeper shade like this. I will still be focusing on Antique Bronze in February. I really wish I could use up the upper left corner there. Then another shade that I have used during the past month is Sienna. Sienna I have used 4 times, but I really don't see any progress when I compare it to the last month. I honestly cannot see anywhere, but anyways, I have been using it. It is a nice warm eyeshadow for transition shade or crease. The other 3 shades I have not used, but for the next month I do want to focus on Venetian Red because it is Valentine's season, so I do think Venetian Red is going to be a fitting eyeshadow to that. However, I'm not going to set any goals of what I want this one to look like. I don't know if this is an eyeshadow that I would be able to finish. We'll see, but I do want to wear it and see what I think about it, and kinda maybe make my mind if it is an eyeshadow that I will attempt to finish. So yeah, I will set that to be my goal. I want to decide if it is an eyeshadow that I will try finish. However, Red Ochre and Real Gar I'm going to forget for now. Then, last but not least, let's talk about my main Pan That palette for the first half of 2021. So the BH Cosmetics Modern Match Eyeshadow Palette, and I am so happy about my progress with this palette. So let me show you where I was in the intro and where I am right now. So here is what the palette is looking like right now. So as you can see, I was able to hit some new pans. So I'm actually going to show you a picture where I have red circles on those eyeshadows that I had hit before starting this project, and 10 blue circles on those eyeshadows that I was able to hit pan during the past month, because I feel it can be a little bit overwhelming to look at the progress with bare eyes when you don't know what to look for. I was able to hit pan on this eyeshadow over here, I was able to hit pan on the blue, and I was able to hit pan on the grey. It took most to hit pan on this one, and I will go through the uses soon. This one I had to use a little bit more, but the blue and the grey have been in projects previously. Thankfully so, because I'm going to be completely honest, I don't like eyeshadows like this. I'm typically a little bit more into neutral or warm toned eyeshadow looks, or even when talking about cool tones, I like more cool toned neutrals, like the look I'm wearing today. And the look I'm wearing today comes mainly from this palette, but then I'm wearing loose eyeshadows on my lid. But yeah, I'm just not really into like deeper blues like this. I'm not into grey eyeshadow at all. In fact, grey probably is my least favorite eyeshadow color ever, and this is clearly my least favorite shade from this palette. However, I have had these eyeshadows both in projects previously, and I was able to get really close to hitting pan in the previous projects, and that totally made my life so much easier during the past month, because honestly I'm so over these shades already. And overall I feel I'm kind of like over of cool shades right now, and I do maybe want to focus on something a little bit different, maybe something a little bit more romantic, but really cool tones I just kind of want to take a break. But yeah, really happy with the new pans. I feel some of the hardest eyeshadows are now out of the way. I mean, obviously there are some really hard eyeshadows left in the bottom row, which I'm not sure if I'm ever able to hit pan on all of these, but I will try my best. But at least the grey and the blue I have hit pan on right now. But let's actually go through the uses of all of these eyeshadows. Again, I'm just going to go through the uses with those eyeshadows where I do have progress on. And I'm just going to show you a close-up of the palette, because it's hard for me to read the uses at the same time than show this and talk about the progress. So the shade that I surprisingly used the most during the past month is the white eyeshadow. I'm actually really surprised, but I used this 29 times. Almost every time, if not every time, that I did my makeup for the past month, I have used this eyeshadow. And I found a way to use this eyeshadow so that I'm able to make good progress. So I actually do use this one to set my eyeshadow primer when I set it. I don't set it every time. For example, today I wanted to go for a bolder look, and in that case I don't want to set my primer with these shades. But sometimes on everyday basis, if I want to go for a lighter look, then I will set my eyeshadow primer, and this works perfectly for that. But also I have worn this couple of times as a lid shade or as a brown bow highlighter, but 29 times is how many times I use it. And yeah, obviously even if it is 29 times, there might be a day when I have used it both to set my eyeshadow primer and on my brow bone, but that still counts as one use. So if I used it once in a look, that counts as a use. I did set my goal with this eyeshadow to be finish it, and I was a little bit nervous about it because I don't always go for white brow bone highlight, but now looking at the progress and the fact that I can set my lid with this one, I think I will be able to finish this. Then the checkered shade is kind of like a light skin tonish shade. I really don't know what this shade wants to be. It just reminds me of like skin. It's not really a cream, but it's not really a beige. Anyways, this one I used for 4 times, so not too many times. I think when I realized that I can use the white eyeshadow to set my primer, I stopped using this, but I'm still sure I can finish this eyeshadow this year. The third eyeshadow I used once. The fourth eyeshadow I actually used 5 times. And then the fifth eyeshadow, that is the one that I was able to hit pan on, I used for 10 times. I'm not exactly sure how many times I had to use it before I was able to hit pan on it, but in total I used it 10 times. This is something that I very often used together with Antique Bronze. Then the sixth shade I used once and the seventh shade I used once. Then from the second row I used the 8th shade 4 times, but this one is actually really similar to Antique Bronze. They are basically the same color, but Antique Bronze just has a sheen on it when this one is matte, but the color is so similar. So when I realized that, I decided that I will focus on Antique Bronze, and once that one is finished, then I will focus on this eyeshadow. And then another shade from the second row that I have been using quite a bit is the 13th shade, so the shade that has the most pan on it. So this eyeshadow I used 7 times, and this one is one of my favorite eyeshadows from the palette. It is such a great transition shade for neutral looks, so no wonder I have gotten good use out of it. And I'm sure this will be the first shade going from this palette. The only shade that I used from the third row is the shade number 15, which is a deep matte plum. And I have used it for 6 times. I have deepened out my look with it, I think at least a couple of times, but also I have been using it as a liner. Then from the bottom row I have used both of the blues 2 times. So the lighter blue I have not yet hit pan on, and I don't think the pan is too close either. This is going to be a harder one to hit pan on because I'm not typically the biggest fan of blue eyeshadow. I just think it's so out there and not necessarily the most flattering thing for me to do. However, I do want to find a way where this eyeshadow would be wearable, so maybe to create like a neutral look and wear this one really lightly on my lid. That could work, but right now I do feel I need a break. And yeah, the deeper blue I was able to hit pan on. It was actually the first use in this project that I hit pan, but this one was in my Throwback 30 project pan, I think in 2019, I think I did it with Fantastic Ladies. So yeah, I had gotten good use out of it before starting this project. The grey I used for 4 times. It was only a couple of uses and then I was able to hit pan, and I think I have used it a couple of times even after hitting the pan, but now I'm so over it. I really never want to wear it again. I just don't like grey eyeshadow. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's really flattering on myself. And then the black is the shade that I used the most after the white, so this one I have used for 19 times. I'm really excited. The progress is not necessarily that great. I mean, I can definitely see progress, but considering how often I used it, maybe it could be a little bit more. However, most of the times that I used this, I just used it as a liner. But today I'm wearing it also on the outer V area and also in my crease. I wanted to go for a quite smoky look today. So yes, that is where I am with this palette right now. So really happy about my progress. I still don't know if my goal of hitting pan on all of these eyeshadows this year is over ambitious, but I'm anyways excited to work on this. As I said, I feel I do need a break of really cool tones right now, and since we are getting into Valentine's season, I do feel I want to wear some more romantic looks. Next month I definitely do need to focus on the purple and pink row. I'm not going to focus on every single shade from this row though, so the shades I am going to work on are again this deeper plum. I think this will be a great eyeshadow to deepen out looks. 10 shades that I do want to focus on are these 2 over here. These 2 I don't want to focus on because they are a little bit more cool toned, and as I said, I just need a break of cool tones. And I do think with these I do have a little bit more wear in them, so it's not probably going to be too difficult to hit pan, but right now I need a break. But these 2 little bit warmer pinky colors I do want to focus on in February. I have already hit pan on this shade over here. It was in my Project 10 Uses Roulette last year, and during that time I was able to hit pan on this. Thankfully, it's not my favorite eyeshadow. It's really that kind of pink that I cannot really do much with it. I could maybe try to blend my looks with it, or I could use it on my lid, but it's too dark for me to, for example, set my lid with it or to highlight my brow bone with it. So not my favorite shade, so thankfully I don't need to focus on it, but I probably will get some use out of it still. But then the last shade on the pink row is going to be a focus shade. This is clearly the lightest shade. I don't know if I'm going for pink looks if I would want to set my lid with it, because I feel for that kind of looks I may want to do a sticky base, but if I'm going to set my lid when going for a pink look, I will try to use this one. But also this is something that if I go for a pink or plummy or purpley look, I think it will be a beautiful brow bone highlighter. So that is my plan, how I want to hit pan on it. Realistically, I don't know though if I can hit pan on any of these shades during the next month. Maybe the really light baby pink. But yeah, that is everything for today. I'm really excited to be doing pan that palette again this year. I'm happy with my progress, and I cannot wait to see what my progress looks like next month. And the end of the month, I got to say, it is my favorite time of the month, the end of the month, the beginning of month, because then people are uploading their pan that palette updates, and those are my favorite videos to watch, because this is my favorite project pan. But that is really everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you on my next one. Bye bye!